go. What is going on? Hello, AA Dream Team. Welcome to another lesson of the Aesthetics Amplified from clicks to clients. And in tonight's lesson, we're going to talk about building your aesthetic brand with irresistible content. Let's go ahead and get into it. I am your instructor, owner and founder of Cheri Cobb Creative, which is a creative marketing agency that helps businesses build their online presence. And if you are new here, and if you've never watched one of these, or if you've never been a part of one of the AA Dream Team Aesthetics Amplified Masterclass, we always go over housekeeping rules from the start. So I'm going to run through these quickly, just in case you are new here. You can kind of know how to get with the flow. So if you are actually watching and you are a part of the AA Dream Team, you can see my screen and you see a slide presentation. Type your questions in the chat as we go, and I will answer all of your questions at the end. Classes are recorded for training purposes. You can see me and you can see my screen, but I can't see you, okay? So don't worry about how you look on camera or anything like that. I can't see you. So your device will stay muted until question and answer time at the end. Remember, all replays will be uploaded inside of the AA Facebook community. And if you do happen to go back and watch, just make sure you drop #replay in the comment section. Be respectful because 60 minutes goes by quickly. And then take advantage of question and answer at the end, okay? So that's it, housekeeping rules. Now, who is Cheri? Who is Cheri? And most importantly, why is she qualified to be giving you this information today, to be going over all of this stuff? What makes me qualified? So I am Cheri. I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend. And I'm someone who has basically turned her passion for video and content creation into a full-fledged, thriving business. I started with zero followers, 0 subscribers, 0 email subscribers, 0 clients. And the difference between you and I is when I first started in this industry, I did not have a business. I just had a passion. And I had a whole lot of ambition, but I did not have a business. You, on the other hand, you already have a business. So that makes you 10 steps ahead of me. So the fact that I started with zero everything, 0 clients, without even really having a business idea. And I took my passion, I took my ambition, and I basically took a hobby and I turned it into something that tells me that you can do it too, again, because you're already 10 steps ahead of where I am right now. I started a YouTube channel. For those of you who do not remember, don't go back trying to look at my videos, but I did start a YouTube channel where I taught social media marketing tips. But even before that, I just started a channel. I didn't know what I was doing. My content was horrible. I had a piece of sequence fabric behind me that I got from Michael's. I had a ring light that I made myself. Some of y'all might remember that. So yes, I see look, Jasmine is the real MVP because every class, every night, Jasmine always says she remembers that ring light. Thank you, Jasmine, for showing up. Oh yeah, and then also don't forget to drop your location in the chat. I do like to know where you guys are tuning in from. So drop your location in the chat. I already see Florida. I always get a lot of viewers from Florida. I love that. Florida, Dallas, Houston, California, Scottsdale. Okay. I love that. All right. So yes, back to my story. Like I said, a piece of sequence fabric behind me, a ring light that I made myself with rope light from from Home Depot, and a piece of cutout cardboard box. Okay. I did that. And you can go back and look at some of my videos. I'm not ashamed at all because you got to start from somewhere. And today I have successfully helped over 100 business owners and content creators use the internet to bring in more money, bring in more sales, bring in more clients, and using simple creative marketing strategies. And that's what we're going to talk about in tonight's lesson. I feel like your week is going to be absolutely amazing. If there's anything that you have been waiting on, if there's anything that you've been expecting to come your way, you've been praying for, you've been working towards, whatever it is, it's yours. It has your name written all over it because I feel it. I feel it for myself. So because I feel it for myself, I feel it for you too. So I know your week is going to be full of opportunities. Your week is going to be great. You're going to get a lot of things accomplished, and I am in the corner. I'm rooting for you. I'm your biggest supporter. Okay. So what will you learn in tonight's masterclass? What are we going to talk about? So I'm going to talk about standing out online, and tonight we're going to talk specifically about the things that you should be posting and doing on social media. Okay, so we're going to talk about understanding your audience. Yes, I see the comments coming in. Okay, yes, so you got the email. So Brenda says that she got the email and she was ready for tonight's masterclass. Oh, how I love to hear that. Like, I love to hear when the things that I actually do, when they work, I just love hearing it. I eat that up. So building a consistent brand, optimizing different platforms, how to find content ideas that work, creating evergreen content, and call to actions and conversions, which is very, 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 very important. So make sure you take notes, save this for later, come back and watch it. If you're not already, if you are on Instagram and you're watching it, just make sure you actually join the masterclass so you can get the full live experience. And that is what my people get over here. All right, let's go. Creating even better content. Creating irresistible content is important because it captivates your audience, encouraging engagement and interaction. And I want to go ahead and just put this out there. That is what this is all about. This is all about captivating your audience and increasing engagement and interaction. Because engagement and interaction and conversations, that is what leads to conversions. So in your mind, as the business owner, you really need to ask yourself, well, how can I create conversations? How can I create engagement? And how can I get people to interact with my content? That's what you should ask yourself each and every time you post. It works. I'm telling you, it works. And we'll talk about that later on. You want to create content that entices, that informs, that entertains, drawing people to your brand, building trust, and driving action. And whether that's making a purchase, or that's booking or scheduling an appointment, or it's just inviting someone to become an active and engaged follower, whatever it is, that should be your goal. It's not to go viral. Okay. It is not, really, that's it. It's not to go viral, because that's the biggest misconception. It's not, you are creating content on the internet to plant seeds, to get people to know about your business and your brand, and basically to stay top of mind. So with whatever service you provide as a business owner, you stay top of mind for those who may be interested and may be ready to buy from you, or book with you, or shop with you, but they're just not ready right now. So continue to plant the seeds, continue to get engagement, continue to use social media as a tool to grow your business, because ultimately, leading down the line, if you see the forest and not the trees, it builds stronger connections, which lead to higher conversions. So That's my disclaimer. I need you to understand that, because a lot of people don't really understand the why when it comes to creating content. They see the surface level stuff, the vanity metrics, which are more followers, more subscribers, comments. That's kind of borderline, because comments can be used as market research. So we won't put that in the same bucket with vanity metrics. But likes and just the surface level things that really don't mean anything. That's the stuff that you kind of want to stay away from trying to grow. Going viral, getting a lot of likes. No, we want action. And that's what we're going to talk about in tonight's masterclass. So understanding your audience, because this is extremely important. I see people, and first off, this is important because I did this. I made the mistake of growing social media accounts with the wrong audience. And, now that I look back on it, it may not have been the wrong audience. It was mainly because, like I said, I didn't have a business at the time. So therefore, I was just kind of doing a lot of things until I figured out what worked for me. But again, like I say, you and I are different because you already have a business. So the next step is just knowing who your ideal clientele is, knowing who it is that you're talking to. And that's so important. I recently had an aesthetic service provider. She reached out to me. She's I think a neurosurgeon, and she has a medical spa. Okay, imagine that, right? So she reached out to me, and she basically told me that she did not like her current marketing company. She felt like they missed the mark with her social media posts and they don't relate. So I went and I looked at her posts, and the posts actually were very, very high quality, shall I say. But they didn't really seem relatable. They were more informative, they were more educational, but they didn't really seem relatable. And you really want to try to check mark all of those categories off when you're creating content. And this one just missed the mark when it came to being relatable. So this is what I did with my psychology analytical brain. I actually went and I looked up her area. And I kind of researched her area. I saw some of the content that was being put out online. And I wanted to get a better understanding of her demographic in her particular city and state. And when I did that, I realized that she didn't really live in an area where it was kind of like high class and the average income was like very high or even average at that. She kind of lived in a low budget area. Maybe that's not the most political word to say, but that's where she lived. She lived in a very low budget area. But her content was very kind of like high quality. And yes, your content being too quality can also be a deterrent. Okay, I just want to say that. That's why it's so important to learn your audience. And she may have been, hitting on topics that didn't really relate to the demographic that was in her certain area. And that's so important. Knowing the age, knowing the location, knowing the gender, knowing what they like, knowing their behaviors, knowing what appeals them and what their needs are, what keeps them hooked as it relates to social media content. I know that my viewers, business owners who relate to me most, know that I like video. That is what I create. I curate lots of videos. So usually those who are pulled into me or want to work with me or want to explore more about my services are someone who's either not afraid of showing up on video, or, okay, because there's always a caveat, or this person wants to get on my level. They yearn to create more video. Okay. Another important part about understanding your audience is uncovering their pain points and their challenges. What are they dealing with? What are they struggling with? What keeps them up at night? Y'all, that is all a thing, okay? And so many people skip this part when it comes to, just creating content and putting it out there. You have to understand what your audience is struggling with. And I'm going to always go back to me because I just know what my ideal clientele is struggling with. And most of the time they're struggling with just maintaining the content because they're too busy running their businesses and they do not have time for social media. They realize they need it. They realize they need social media, but they don't have time. So I come in as the middle person and I'm like, hey, let me serve you. Let me help you. And some of the content that I talk about online, it addresses how you don't have time. So, hey, let me come in. Let me solve that problem. So researching their online behavior and preferred platforms. How does your ideal client like to consume content and where are they hanging out at? I've talked about this in several of my master classes before. So if you missed the last one, just go back and watch it because I got, we went deep and we talked about preferred platforms, where they like to consume content, and yada, 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 because that is also a thing. You want to know where your ideal client consumes content. What platform do they spend the most time on? Okay. And then investigating your competitors. Go find out what they're doing. Go find out what they're posting. How are they utilizing Instagram stories? How are they showing up on TikTok? Subscribe to their email newsletter and see what they are sending out. And then conduct surveys and polls. You can do this on stories. I actually recommend you do a poll at least once per week where you're asking your clients something about something. So one of my clients right now, they go live every single Tuesday. And what we do for her is we have a link in her bio where her clients can ask questions. What do you want us to talk about on live next Tuesday? What topics do you want us to address? Are there any questions, that or procedures or treatments you might not be certain about, or you may have a little bit more, you want to know a little bit more about before you decide to buy now and click now. So we have it set up to where these inquiring minds can just go in and they can say, here's my question. And then I send it to the office each and every week. And then when they go on live, they answer these questions. Sometimes when I'm sitting back and I'm creating content and I don't know what to post, which that rarely happens for this account, but I pull from that content bank, if you will, and I create content. Okay. So that's why it's so important just to understand your audience, understand who it is that you're talking to, who are you serving, narrow that down to a T and talk to these people with each and every post that you put out there. Building a consistent brand online. Why is that important? Why do I need to build a consistent brand online? Because brand recognition, it actually builds trust. It builds trust. It builds credibility. People like familiar things. They don't want anything that's changing. They want things that are familiar, that are easy on the eye. And by you creating a consistent, cohesive brand online, it helps the end user recognize you more and fall in love with you more. And then they're like, oh yeah, I remember, I know that's that post from this spa, or that's that post from, from this business. And then they're going to automatically like it. Doesn't even matter if, what you say in the post, they just recognize it because it's your brand identity. Now, a lot of people don't understand, where do you start at with the brand identity? Usually it starts with your website. So that's why it's so important to make sure you have a dynamic and cohesive, fully functional website that represents your brand, represents your, your brand goals and your brand and your morals as you are a business owner, basically. So you usually just take that same cohesiveness from your website, and you want to disperse it within your social media content, within your email, within everything you do online on your digital platform. And that is how you develop a very good brand consistency or brand recognition, brand identity. That's the word I'm looking for. A lot of businesses that I work with, they come with content guides or branding guides. This is not something that you usually start off with. This is something that you develop along the way, or you can just have it created for you in the very beginning. It just depends on where you are in your business. But having that in place before you start just throwing content online is so important. And this is something that I wish I had knew in the very beginning. I didn't know it. And then also, like, social media is also changing now, where things don't have to be super curated and super put in place. Some things can be a little out of place, because honestly, some of my top performing content and some of my clients' top performing content might just be everyday content. It may not be super, quality or super curated. It could just be me sitting on my couch talking about something that's relevant to my industry, or talking about something that I know my ideal clientele wants to hear. So everything doesn't have to be super polished, but there needs to be some sort of cohesiveness, some sort of recognition. So when the end user takes a look at your content, they immediately know that it's you. Another important part of building a consistent brand online is that you can incorporate your brand values and your messaging into your content creation. I think I kind of talked about this in the beginning, but what do you value? These videos are actually getting more popular as I see content creation go on. They're so super specific, and they talk about specific pain points. So let me give you an example. I saw something the other day. Metricool, which is a scheduling platform that I use. I love Metricool. So if you want to schedule your social media posts and stay ahead of the game, then definitely check out Metricool. I'll leave a link below. So if you want to check that out, you can. And I think you can get like a couple of days free and just try it out to see if you like it. But they have the best social media platform. So they made a video the other day, and they talked about how, they said, I hope this email finds you well. Now, and then they made like a meme about it. Basically, they mocked it in so many words. And it was funny because only a certain sector of the community knows about things like that. So that resonated with only a certain amount of people. Now, it hit home for me. It hit a home run for me because I knew exactly what they were talking about, because I use those tools that spit out that type of jargon. Unlock this, unleash this, say goodbye to this, say goodbye to that. I hope this email finds you well. So I knew exactly, but I'm their target audience because I've been using the tool for over 2 years now, I'm pretty sure. And I'm their target audience. So and I'm noticing that content is starting to be more specific. It used to be very general. 5 tips to this, 5 steps to this, 5 ways to do this. But now people don't want that. They want super specific content. And to me, it's the perfect way to incorporate your values and the things that you believe in and what message you want to convey to people, you want to get out online. And that's why social media is such a powerful tool, and it allows you to do just that. So also, when it comes to building a consistent brand, balancing promotional content with value-driven content, with fun content, okay? You have to find a balance. And that's, I'm going to be honest, this is why it's so important to just outsource. Just, find the company that works for you. I'm not saying that it has to be, it doesn't have to be me. I'm not going to be biased, but I will say that find a company that works for you, that can help you find that balance when creating content, because you don't want to overkill on the promotional content. That's the quickest way to get unfollowed, because people don't want to be sold to on social media. I always say that. You don't want to give too much value. I made this mistake. The problem with giving too much value is that people only follow you for that value. They only discover you for that value. But if there is not any personal or relationship building content mixed in between, then they are only going to be there for the value. And you really want those connections to surpass that. Really, you really do. Okay. So I always say this. I think I actually say this in every single lesson, but remember that you attract what you post. Okay. Just remember that. All right. Optimizing different platforms and understanding what all of the features and functionalities mean on different platforms. Now, do I expect you to know this? This part here is really going to be like a little crash course, if you will, because I don't expect you to know all of this. It's just impossible, to be honest with you. It's impossible for you to understand this. I know this because this is my livelihood. This is the foundation of my business. And one thing about online marketing is you have to continue to educate yourself. And I do that all the time. Ask my friends. They will tell you that I will listen to a podcast each and every day, all day. Podcast, audiobook, from Audible to Apple Podcasts, okay? Shout out to all of my favorite podcasts. I'll tell you all about, maybe I'll make another video or I'll record something about that later. But anyways, so tailoring content to various platforms. For example, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. In most cases, they all require a different delivery. And I see the mistake so many times where one post is plastered everywhere. Now, I don't want to make the mistake and say that this never works, because that's not always the case. I have content that I post on Instagram, and I'm not just speaking for my account, but also for clients. I have content that I post maybe on Instagram, then I go put it on YouTube, and they actually do well on both platforms. But you can't always guarantee that. And I will honestly say that I think over time I have come to know which types of content are acceptable for which platforms. And we'll talk about that later. So leveraging different types of contents and what they're used for. So if you look over here, Jasmine says, I did not know stories were to nurture. Yes, Jasmine, that is absolutely right. So if you look over here in the right-hand column, actually, let me pause for a second. I just need y'all to know that Jasmine and I had a one-on-one session last week, and it was so powerful. So first of all, we talked about, like, we basically just shifted her entire mindset when it came to the types of content that she puts out for her aesthetic business. She just started a med spa, so congratulations to Jasmine. And now the only thing that I told her, and I'm gonna be transparent, the only thing that I told her was that she should have started marketing way early on. Okay, she should have started way early on, but it's okay. It's never too late. That's the beauty of it. She's starting out, and that's all that matters. And I gave her a 60-day plan. I basically gave her a 60-day plan, and I told her that if she started now, she should have clients calling, clients booking in no time. So I just wanted to put that out there. Jasmine, I believe in you. I'm so grateful that you found me on TikTok out of all places. And I can't wait for our next session. Okay. So leveraging different content types and what they are used for. So again, if you look over here in this black box, reels are to help you reach new accounts. And we're just talking about Instagram, okay? Reels are to help you reach new accounts. So you always want to produce like bite-sized little snippet types of content over there, because usually people are just scrolling and they want instant gratification. They want things fast. So you kind of want to create reels as if they are the appetizer that leads to the entree. Now, the entree, those are your wall posts, because usually those are to engage and to educate. So you kind of want to position those to get a lot of engagement. I would ask a question. That is actually my $1 million tip. That is your free tip for tonight's lesson, is to ask a question. If you watch my videos and you are familiar with my content, you follow me on TikTok, all that stuff, you know that I say that all the time. Always position your content to ask a question, get people involved. And that is usually my strategy as it relates to wall posts on Instagram, okay? And then your stories. You want to use your stories to nurture your audience. If I were you, I would pick up your phone and I would create an Instagram story just talking to the camera at least 3 times a week. I need to do this more. So I need to practice what I preach, but at least 3 times a week, you want to pick up the phone and just talk to your stories like you are on a FaceTime call. I promise you, you will see so many more conversions in your business, because, and especially when you do it like first thing in the morning, and include a poll or some sort of interactive sticker. That could be a poll. That could just be the little sticker that you press to get people to like heart eyes or something like that, right? So do that the first thing in the morning. Sorry. Do that first thing in the morning. That would be something that I would suggest as an attempt to get more engagement on your post. Because the beauty about it, let me tell you, the beauty about it is that when someone engages with your stories, usually when you go and you double back and you create an Instagram post on your wall or a reel, that person is more likely to see it. But the thing is, you have to think about where they start. They start on your stories. I can promise you, if you were to poll your audience will tell you, okay? And put a 1 in the chat. If you notice this, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you notice that your followers watch your stories like way more than they engage with your posts. Have you ever noticed it's disproportion? You will have so many more story views than you will on your feed, and that is because people watch stories more. So you want to meet them there. So you meet them there, you post your story, particularly talking on camera. You add an engagement sticker, whether that be a poll or one of those ones that you like. And then you post. Then you post for the day. And then you just watch watch how your numbers will skyrocket. Okay. Again, some more free advice for the night. Okay. And then the last thing is learning the culture and the nuances of each platform. Y'all, yes, it's a thing. So TikTok is full of freaking inside jokes. Okay. It is like the whole platform is built around inside jokes. And you have got to know how to interpret those inside jokes, and not just how to understand them, but you got to learn how to understand them and how to kind of intertwine them within your content, because you don't want to look like a fool on the platform. So learning the nuances, what's funny on TikTok is usually not the same type of funny for Facebook. You know, they're trying to, they're like the further along we go in life, the more the platforms are trying to become one. I see this all the time. Okay. They're trying to become one, but they are still different in the sense. Now, the platforms themselves, they can change all day. But the way we use these platforms, it's going to take a while for you to see any change there. So crafting diverse content across the platforms, leveraging various types and adapting to their uniqueness is so important. I want you to be omnipresent. You do not need to just be on one platform. Nowadays, if you are only on one or two social media platforms out there, you are leaving money on the table. Bottom line, you're leaving money on the table. Because everybody who is on TikTok is not on Instagram. Everybody who is on Facebook is not on YouTube. Y'all, be everywhere. Be omnipresent, okay? All right, so how to find content ideas. I think this is my favorite part of tonight's lesson. How to find content ideas that actually work. So before I talk about this, I want to tell you the biggest mistake that I see content creators and business owners make is that they scroll the For You page to find content ideas or to get inspired. Now, every time I say get inspired, I'm gonna do it in quotes because I'm really being sarcastic, because I really think it's just stealing. It's stealing other content ideas. But that is the biggest mistake that I see when one, is trying to actually produce content. So I'm going to tell you a few ways that a few avenues that you should actually take instead. The first thing is to just get on Google. You know how you do a Google search and you type how to cook strawberry crunch cake? I'm literally saying that because that's what my son is making. I'm going to show y'all later. But, you get on the internet, you get on Google how to make a strawberry crunch cake. You can even get on Instagram and search for this type of stuff too, but we're talking about content, ways to find content ideas that I actually prefer from the best to the least, okay? And it's not even the least. All of these are just the best in my mind. There's tons of ways to find content ideas. Let me just say that, okay? Lots of ways. So when you go on Google and you do a good old Google search, the reason why I put Google as number one is because Google is the number one search engine out there. It is top of the line. It's the head honcho. So being that it is the number one search engine out there, it has all of the data in the background that can help us as business owners. So when you go and you type in, again, how to make strawberry crunch cake, maybe right after that, there may be something else that pops up that says how to make strawberry crunch. That's a tongue twister. How to make strawberry crunch cake with almond milk or whole milk or 2% milk, or how to make it with no bake, or just anything. They're, just add on that extra element. They're giving you ideas that people have typed in the search engine that people are actually looking for. So it's data-driven information, and that just gets no better than that. So I love Google. You can always turn it up a notch. But if you just want a free way to find content ideas, actually all of these ways that I'm giving you are free. I didn't even give you any of the paid ways. If you want to know some of the paid ways, ask me and I'll put it in, or maybe I'll do another video, who knows. But these are all free. Number two, comments, and especially on TikTok. It is something about TikTok where people just feel like they can just say whatever, they can ask whatever. They are not ashamed. You understand? So go and look at other businesses in your industry, other aesthetic dentists, other med spa owners, other dermatologists. Go look at other businesses in your industry that seem to be doing well on social media. And that's subjective because we talked about the vanity metrics, but in this case, it is perfectly okay to it's perfectly okay to look for the most likes and most comments and all that type of stuff. Go look in the comments and then see what questions are they asking. Go look at the video and see what the video was about, and then go see the questions. What questions are people mainly asking in the comment section? Because what happens is you will identify trends. You will identify trends, meaning that you will identify people who are asking the same exact question. And it might not be word from word, but if you sit down and you think about it, it's really the same question. That is gold. That is content idea gold, because people are continuing to ask this question, and it could be an indicator that nobody else is out there that's giving out this information. Okay. Also, another good way to find content ideas is to do market research, which kind of piggybacks off of the second one, but you can take it a bit deeper, and you can even go visit websites. You can go visit answerthepublic.com. You can go visit googletrends.com. You could even just, like figure out what is going on, what's popping in your industry right now. The biggest thing that I would always recommend someone do is just subscribe to some sort of newsletter or publication that is consistent and that always brings you the best of the best in this industry. That would be considered doing a little bit of market research. What's going on in your market? Pinterest is another great way to find content ideas. I am always on Pinterest. Pinterest is just great for so many things. And the thing about Pinterest is the intent of the end user is different. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. The thing about Pinterest is the intent of the end user is different of what it is on a traditional social media platform like Instagram and Facebook. What do you mean, Cheri? What are you talking about? The person that is on Pinterest, their reason for scrolling and looking up something is totally different than the person on Instagram. If you are on Pinterest, 9 times out of 10, you are on there because you want some sort of information. You want to know how to tie your shoe. You want to know how to bleach your roots. You want to know how to dye your hair. You want to know how to make a jacket. You want to know how to style an outfit. You want to know something. You're usually not just there because you're purposely scrolling. So that's what I mean by the intent of the end user is different. So therefore, Pinterest is considered to be a search engine platform. It's not a typical social media platform. It is a search engine platform, which makes it the perfect place to look up content ideas, and especially evergreen content ideas. And we'll talk about that later because that's a very important component when it comes to building and growing your online presence. Another thing that you can do, and we kind of talked about this earlier, so I won't stay on it too long, to find content ideas is to poll your audience at least once a week. If you have a very engaged audience, okay, at least three of my accounts, they have very engaged audiences, meaning that I can post anything and the people and their followers are going to hop all over it. If you have a very engaged audience, you should definitely poll them once a week and ask them, what do you want to see more of? What are your questions? Or maybe just, what are you doing? What types of content do you want to see? Ask them, because they will tell you. This is one thing that Jasmine and we talked about We talked about polling her audience. She has a very engaged audience. Her followers love everything that she puts out there. And I told her just to start asking them questions and they will tell you. And I remember she did her first poll and she sent me all of the questions. She was like, oh my God, all these people are responding. And I'm like, yes, girl, yes, they are responding. Because if you ask people, they will tell you, because the average person wants to be involved. They want to give their input. That, some people, it just completes them at the end of the day. And another great place you can find content ideas, which this is a little tactic that a lot of people sleep on, and that is reviewing your very own insights and analytics, looking up your insights and looking at your, on Instagram, it's your insights, looking at your insights and reviewing them for the last 60 days. And then ask yourself, what is it that seemed to move the needle for people? Look at your last 5 posts, your last top performing 5 posts. What do they all have in common? Did you talk about a certain topic? Were you wearing a certain shirt? Were you at a certain location? Was your light better than usual? Did you have the phone over here instead of over here? Were you on this good side, not this good side? If you look at your last 5 or 6 posts, your top performing, usually you will identify some sort of trend that made those particular posts perform the way that they performed. I do this all the time with my clients. I go back and I say, oh, well, this post where we talked about laser hair removal, well, it took off. Okay, it did so well. So guess what? We're going to do it again, but now we're going to put a different hook on it. We're going to put a different song on it, and we're going to put a different call to action. Maybe the last laser hair removal post, we told everybody to join our newsletter. Now this one will tell people to visit our website to explore more about our services, right? So that is what online marketing is literally all about. You go back and you review the things that you did within a certain duration. That could be 30, 60, 90 days, whatever however you choose to measure it. And then you say, what worked? This worked. Well, guess what? Let's do it again. So now, creating evergreen content. We talked about this. Now I want to get deeper, okay? Creating evergreen content. What is evergreen content? Let's start there. Evergreen content is the content that keeps on giving. It is like, seriously, it's the content that keeps on giving. So I'll give you some evergreen content ideas for me as an online marketer, video content creator for aesthetic service providers. Okay, so some evergreen content ideas for me would be, how do you use social media to turn clicks into clients? Maybe they might not say that, because the clicks into clients, that's kind of my little slogan. But how do you use social media to actually get more clients? Or how do you use social media to get more sales? No matter where we are in the world as far as timing, whether we're in 2023, 2033, 2043, that question will always remain relevant. So evergreen content is when you focus on timeless topics that stay relevant over time. This is a very great way to approach your digital marketing, because it allows your content to stay just basically relevant. I do this a lot on YouTube, where I create topics that I know people will always and forever be searching for. And then guess what? My video comes up. Now I know the information may change, because over time in marketing, things change. Well, guess what? I just go create another video. And you can also take the same approach on Instagram, because certain questions will always get asked on Instagram. And then you just want those videos to continue to pop up, and you want them to pop up for the person that's out there searching for them. Another way you can kind of get evergreen content ideas is by addressing frequently asked questions, because once again, people will always have these questions. They will always remain relevant, and they will always, they will always be questions that are asked within your specific industry. It's kind of like a little content hack, because it's the content that keeps on giving. A lot of my evergreen videos that I created on any of my social media platforms, they're still being viewed years later, because I made topics. Well, I chose topics that will always be relevant. Okay. So make sure when you are creating content, you use those keywords, those long tail keywords, get super specific, because that's what it's all about now. I see the shift. I see the change. Generic keywords like how to tie my shoe, how to bake a cake, how to sign up for skydiving or whatever. Those are very generic keywords. But in today's digital space, longer tail keywords, that's what people are looking for. And you want to know why? Because voice to text recognition is becoming a thing. People are no longer going on here and typing. They are, but they're not. And we want to advance with the world. And right now they're going on here, they're saying, Alexa or Siri or whoever, find this and find that for me, right? And they're longer tail keywords. So using those within your content in 2024, you guys, it is so important. Now, call to action and conversion methods. So many people miss this part, and this is the cherry on top. This is the icing on the cake. This is the method that you use when you are trying to use the internet to build your business. You have to include a call to action if you want to see conversions, whatever conversions look like for you. Again, that could be booking an appointment, scheduling an appointment, requesting an appointment, signing up for your newsletter, signing up for some sort of membership program or subscription program, whatever that call to action is for your business. You have to find creative ways to put it out there, because you have to tell your followers what to do next. Never expect. So when you get ready to put a post out there, and I'll use me as an example. I'm actually editing in the middle. I was in the middle of editing an Instagram reel for Tuesday for myself. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to create the call to action to get people to join my masterclass, or if I wanted to let everybody know about my free training, because I do have a free training. I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but when I was actually reviewing my numbers today for my social media presence, I realized that somebody actually went and downloaded it, and they came from, I think, TikTok. So things like that indicate to me, hey, it might be time for me to talk about that training more often. So that is what I mean by having a call to action. Make sure you tell your followers what you want them to do after they watched your video, or they looked at your photos, or they slid through your carousel. What do you want them to do next? Encouraging your audience to take the next step. That's so important, because if not, you do not have a business. Bottom line, it's at this point, it is a hobby. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. So a few strategies to convert your followers into actual paying clients is to use automations. You need to set up automations in the back end of your content. I don't really want to get into that, but all it does is it works as a sales machine for you. Okay. It works as a sales machine for you, meaning that there are people, well, not people, but the system in the background is sending out things to people in their DMs, in their messenger, and it's not salesy. Okay, you set it up to where it's not salesy, and I'll give you a perfect example. If you follow me on Instagram, you might see a lot of the times I will tell you to comment the word spicy if you're ready to get started. If you want, I might talk about the Aesthetics Amplified Masterclass, and I might say, hey, if you want to join, just comment the word spicy, and someone from our team will send you more details. That is automation. And then what the system does in the background is it goes in and it just sends out the link so someone could actually join my masterclass. And it's so much better than saying, click the link in the bio, okay? So automations are everything. And then even if someone does not, actually take action on the link, then you can set it up to where you can, follow up 5 days later and say, hey, I noticed that you didn't click. Well, did you have any more questions? Or here's this and this about this, so I can give you more information, or however you have your automation set up. And another strategy to convert followers into actual clients is by, offering some sort of contest. We do this all the time with our accounts. Most of them, they do a giveaway or something every single month. They do a giveaway. And this allows us to collect data. It allows us to keep those close and keep those ones near and dear who are actually active and engaging with our content. It's a way to just kind of keep them close, right? Because that's what marketing is all about. It's about, yes, attracting people in, but most importantly, once you pull them in, how do you filter between the people who are just there to be there versus the ones that are there because they are ready to buy from you, or they are ready to book with you or schedule or call you, whatever your call to action is. All right. So congratulations. We